It's got to be real.
Okay, guys, so Josh Warrington, LEEDSSS, gets the win. Right, look, man, I'm gonna be honest, right? You know, sometimes you watch fights, right, but you don't pay attention to the fights properly. You don't really study the fights. I watched Josh Warrington for the first time properly, where I really studied. I've seen him fight a good few times, but this time I really studied him. And look, this guy who he's fought, right, this Japanese boy, he's been in with Rigondeaux, right? And so we've got a good gauge on this guy. Now, the thing is, with Josh Warrington in this fight, he was fighting a very tall opponent, right, who's got a decent experience, who's not a bum, right, and had a lot of range, very tall, and a long reach. What I thought about Josh Warrington is this. I'm going to break it down for you. I thought he had a good defense, okay? I thought he was good on his feet, okay? I thought he kept his chin tucked well. I thought he used angles decent. Not the best. He could work on angles, but he wasn't bad. Okay. I thought his combination punching was okay, not brilliant. I think that he could improve perhaps on going to the body, following up to the head. I thought his inside game, considering the sort of fighter he is, where he likes to throw hooks, and that was the sort of fight he had to make it tonight, facing the opponent he faced. I thought that Josh Warrington, if you're fighting, right, look, if you're a strong fighter, right, with big punching power, strong punching power, right, and you can crack, it doesn't make sense for you to become a boxer. It makes sense for you to become someone who fights on the inside. And, you know, you're still a boxer, but there's inside fighting as well, you know. And that's the thing with Josh Warrington. He fights on the inside, but he's not really a tremendous puncher. But skill-wise, I'm going to be honest, right, I was really impressed with Josh Warrington. Usually when you see British fighters, they come in straight lines, and I've said this before, and they do all these, they've got these common traits, and we saw it in the previous fight with Stuart Hall, coming straight lines, good jab, chin up in the air, no head movement. Josh Warrington on flat-footed. Josh Warrington didn't have that. Josh Warrington he did well on his feet. He had a nice defense when the Japanese boy was throwing his jab. Josh Warrington was catching the jab with his hands, and I like to see that. It's a defense that Manny Pacquiao uses. I'm not comparing Josh Warrington to Manny Pacquiao, but yeah, like Manny Pacquiao uses that. Then when someone throws a punch, it's a very easy way to defend a jab. Just put your gloves together in the middle and just block it coming through the middle. Don't let it come through the middle. Just block it with your gloves in the middle, and catch and shoot. I thought Josh Warrington did that pretty well. I thought he was counter punching okay, but you know, this is the thing. I think that with Josh Warrington, skill wise, he's there. I think the problem that he's gonna have when he faces, let's just say, Lee Selby, right, is Josh Warrington hasn't got much punching power. And I do think that punching power is something you're either born with or you're not born with. You've either got it or you don't. You don't have everything. Look, Josh Warrington, he's not slow, he's not flat-footed. It doesn't seem like he's got a bad chin, but he lacks punching power. You know, you could talk about anybody, like you can go through boxing. Let's you know, you can look at Canelo. He's got everything, but he's not got fast feet. You know, you look at Amir Khan, right, who's fighting Canelo. He's got everything, but he's not known for a tremendous chin. You look at Tyson Fury. He's got everything, but he's not as sharp, and as he's not much of a big puncher, huge puncher. You know, so everybody's got these little things. You know, you can even look at legends like you know, and like you can't say Muhammad Ali and George Foreman have any comparison in punching power. Ali was, you know, nowhere near that. So for me, Josh Warrington, right, he lacks in the punching, in his punching power, and what he needs to do is that, although he's not born with tremendous punching power, and it was very visible in this fight, the style he's got, he needs to develop rotational power. And I think that there's different techniques to do that. So I would like to see Josh Warrington go back in the gym, and I would love to see Josh Warrington hit that heavy bag, really hit that heavy bag, get on it, hit it hard, not soft with pity-patty punches, as I think he does pity-patty punches as Josh Warrington. He needs to load up on shots. He needs to sit down on the shots. There's a training technique where you can get a seat, sit down in the seat, squat on it, get up and sit down in your punches. I think as he hits the heavy bag more, as he does more rotational strength training, a bit more squatting perhaps, a bit more explosive weight training, I think Josh Warrington could build some punching power, and he definitely needs that as he steps up in levels. I think skill-wise, really and honestly, I think he's pretty flawless. Like, he's not perfect, but he's good enough. You know, I'm happy. I'm not gonna sit here and critique him. Like, sometimes I'd critique a fighter like that, like if I think that there's room for improvement, because this is Be Real TV and that's what I do. But for me, I don't think he's bad in terms of his skill. I think he's a good skilled fighter, and I'm not one to hype British fighters, but I really think that Josh Warrington, I think he's badass, man. I think he's very, very skillful, and I think that people will be surprised if he faces Lee Selby. I mean, look, Lee Selby, for me, I'm gonna have to study his fights, right? Seeing him fight, but studying someone or watching someone are two different things. I studied Josh Warrington today, and studying Josh Warrington, I was very impressed. I don't think he's a bum, and I think he's a handful for anyone. Obviously, if he faces someone like Rigondeaux, then, you know, or anyone on that sort of caliber, then you're looking at something else. I don't even know if them two are in the same division. They are, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they are. So look, man. Do you know, with Josh Warrington, he's a good fighter, but he needs to work on some punching power. If he can develop it, sometimes I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's difficult to say. Like, it's the same old question. Are you born with punching power, or can you build it? I personally think you can build punching power, but it's like you're never ever going to be a big puncher. But if you're fighting in the style of Josh Warrington, where, you know, he's got his head low, he's got nice movement, he's got a nice defense. You know, he's not got a bad defense. He moves his head, chin's tucked low. I mean, if he had good punching power, I mean, with the shots he was landing, he should have knocked this boy out. He did hurt him, but he should have knocked him out. I'd like to see a bit more variation in the jab. I'd like to see a few more shots to the body. I'd like to see Josh Warrington maybe perhaps staying in there, moving the arms around, positioning, and then throwing some body shots. But like I said, to do these things, you need punching power, and that's the problem with what he's having. And Ricky Hatton is an example of a British fighter who had this sort of style locked good, and he wasn't the best, but he was good, you know. And for me, someone like Ricky Hatton is someone who does well on that sort of style. But Ricky Hatton was a guy who if you used to look at him, was it with I forget which trainer, was it Bob Shannon? I think. No, I don't know who he used to train with. But Ricky Hatton, he used to be attacking that body really well, and he did a lot of heavy bag work where he was throwing hooks. Josh Warrington, he needs to work on that sort of style, like bang bang crack, sit down in his punches, and really develop some rotational power and some leg strength and some strength from his glutes, and really build on that punching power. If he could somehow build a little bit of punching power, Josh Warrington, I think he's going to be a handful. And you know what? I think he's a really good fighter. That's my opinion. That's my take on Josh Warrington. I think he proved it tonight. Fighting in Leeds as well, hometown, LEED, yes. Comment section below, subscribe as always. In a bit, guys. Josh Warrington.